beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, I love to mainly read and review thrillers like I'm doing today for Sally Hepworth's The Soulmate, but I will basically read anything that I'm feeling like reading along with the same for reviewing. But thrillers and mysteries, those are my main cup of tea. So, no wine, unfortunately, featured in today's video. The drink of choice right now is a grapefruit seltzer from Costco. Honestly, these are where it's at. They come in a pack of lemon and lime, and they're delicious. All right, so I apologize in advance if I'm like super tongue-tied today. I'm filming this after work, and I've been talking with my lovely, amazing students all day. So I am like already exhausted from talking, but I wanted to film all of my thoughts on The Soulmate because I just finished this thriller and it's so good. And I have so many thoughts in my head and just, I wanted to film it all while it was fresh. And actually, I brought back the handy dandy notebook. I don't think I've busted this out since like my last read with me video, which, oh, look at my son's stickers. I'm pretty sure my last read with me video was the Book of Accidents. I haven't filmed one of those videos in a very, very long time. Although I do love filming that style video. It's just like a lot of time that goes into that. But if you've never watched one of my read with me videos before, I have one for her latest novel, Daisy Darker. And I'll link that up here for you. It's just where I break up the book into sections, and then it's kind of like a read with me. So I'll film myself thinking of like just basically sharing all of my thoughts after I read certain sections of the book. So like I said, those are super fun to film. It's like we are reading together. But today I'm just reviewing The Soulmate. I chose this as my March Book of the Month book. And this was the month that I also got The Push, which I've also read and reviewed, and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, which I said I was going to do a full review for. I said that in my April wrap up, I think, and I definitely still could. I'll see what you guys think in the comments below if anybody wants a full review for that. But I reviewed The Push, I'm reviewing this one, and then Dark Places, it's like, I read it, it's super good, loved it, but it's like not everything is fresh in my head. I definitely should have taken diligent notes like I did with this book, but I'm happy to still film it. If you guys would like a dedicated review for that book, just let me know. If you're unfamiliar with Book of the Month, all of these books with the little square here, the Book of the Month logo, are Book of the Month books, and those are my Book of the Month books I still have to read. That is my TBR shelf behind me there. But I chose this as an add-on, so I got this book for $9.99. But it's a book buying subscription where for, I think it's $16.99 a month now, you can choose one hardcover book. So I chose this one, whatever they're retailing for. It is cheaper. So this retails for $28.99, but I got it for $16.99 because that's your monthly credit. But then you have the option of choosing two other books for just $9.99 add-ons. You can get up to 3. So you're basically paying, if you end up doing the 3-month or 3-book month, you're getting like 3 hardcover books for a little over $35. So I love it. As you can see, I've been a member for years. I will put my referral link in the description box below. And if you go through me, I get a free book, which is great. But yeah, I chose this as my March choice. I've read other books from Sally Hepworth before. The most recent book I read was The Younger Wife. Here it says all of her books here. And I also read The Mother-in-Law. That was my very first book from her, and I did not like it. I really liked The Younger Wife, but I freaking loved this book. This is a 5-star book for me, a go get this book now on my rating scale. I'm so excited. I started this book on May 1st, according to my notes. And I finished this book on May 6th. So that is like a very fast read for me. I started it on the 1st, and then I didn't touch it for like 4 days. And then I sped through it during the weekend, that first weekend of May, I believe, because it's so good. It's so fast paced. It's amazing. Let me read this synopsis here for you if you're interested. If you don't want to know it, like what the book is about, I typically go into my books knowing nothing. So if you're like me, then just skip ahead. You'll be able to tell when I'm done reading because I will be looking up and not down. It says, picture a lovely cottage on a cliff with sloping lawns, walking paths, and beautiful flowers. It's Gabe and Pippa Wright's dream home in a sleepy coastal town. But their perfect house hides something sinister. The tall cliffs have become a popular spot for people to end their lives. Over the past several months, Gabe comes to their rescue, literally talking them off the ledge. Until one day, he doesn't. When Pippa discovers Gabe knew the victim, the questions spiral. Did the victim jump? Was she pushed? And would Gabe, the love of Pippa's life, her soulmate, lie? As the perfect facade of their marriage begins to crack, the deepest and darkest secrets begin to unravel. Because sometimes the most convincing lies are the ones we tell ourselves. This book is so good. If you're already a Book of the Month member and you haven't got this one yet, choose it as an add-on. You will not be disappointed. It is so fast-paced. There are so many different chapters in this book. They're all like really, really small chapters, 87. So, but they're like 2-3 page chapters. And there's a couple point of views, but not many. I actually think there's only 2 point of views, but I don't want to say who, because I don't want to give anything away. But basically, I actually think that's a really good synopsis for that book. It doesn't give a whole ton away, but you're really just following this couple and the suicide that I guess takes place in the beginning of the book. The woman jumps off the cliff, but then she finds out that her husband knew the woman, and it's just crazy. Like, the book is so fast paced and there are so many twists and turns, and I saw a lot of people raving about this book on Bookstagram. So like, I knew when I started it that I was gonna love it. Like, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say I knew. I was hopeful. That I was going to love it, and I did. I truthfully think that, like, if you're looking for a quick, fast, summer, like, bingeable thriller read, pick this up because it's so good. And the ending, I did not see it coming. I didn't predict it, and I loved it. And that's it for my non-spoiler section of the video. The rest of this video is going to contain spoilers and all of my thoughts on what happened. So if you've read this book and you want to chit chat, keep watching. If you haven't read the book, hopefully I've sold you in reading it because it's really freaking good. I will leave a link in the description box if you want to buy the book through Amazon, not through Book of the Month. I will give you that link as well. But yes, I hopefully have convinced you to read this because it is so fast paced and just bingeable, and like, you will blow right through it. I think it is her best book that of all the ones I've read, which is just 3, but it's definitely the best of the 3. All right, you guys, so I'm just gonna walk you through all of my thoughts that I had when I was reading this book. So basically, from page 8, I don't know why I didn't write the page numbers down for all of my thoughts, but on page 8, I wrote that it was weird that Gabe didn't scream when Amanda fell off the cliff. I was like, if that happened in front of you, like, you would have had a big reaction, right? Like, that is terrible to witness. So the fact that, like, he didn't scream told me right away that, like, he most definitely knew who that person was. And keep in mind, I know that it says that in the synopsis of the book that I just read for you, but I didn't know that because I went into this book knowing nothing. So that was kind of my predictor as a reader going into it, just completely not knowing what it is about. Sorry, words. That very first perspective of Amanda's and her, like, I don't even know, what is the purgatory? But she says it's not purgatory. I don't know. That first afterlife perspective of hers, I was hooked. I was like, get out. Like, we're going to have perspectives in this book from a dead character, like, overseeing everything. I was just so excited about that prospect. And I felt like that was really unique. Like, I don't remember reading a thriller that has a perspective from a character who's dead. I mean, like, maybe I've read one where it's like obvious like this, but I don't remember. So that to me felt very unique. The entire book, I was predicting that Gabe and Amanda were having an affair. Like, that seems like the most likely story of why maybe he would have pushed her, because she could have been like, I'm gonna tell your wife, and he was like, absolutely not. So it was definitely a nice surprise that it didn't go that like cliche route, if you will, but that's definitely like what I was predicting. I'm just gonna read this next thought to you exactly how I wrote it, because it's kind of long. I said, Gabe said he hoped word wouldn't get out about the death being Amanda. How would that not happen? It felt intentional what was coming, almost like he wanted the spotlight on Pippa. So that was kind of adding to that thought of like, is this going to go down the cliche route of Amanda and Gabe like being lovers, and he's trying to like pin it on Pippa having that like what he thought was like a big affair between her and Max, but she just like lied about that to hurt his feelings or whatever. So like him saying that kind of fueled my prediction that maybe he was trying to steer the police in like Pippa's, like trying to put the police on Pippa instead of him. I was very intrigued about Gabe's mood swings in the book. Like, I couldn't quite tell where that was going. I felt like the ADHD diagnosis just in and of itself, like chalking up all of his actions to that, seemed very weird. Like, part of me was like, is the doctor in on this somehow? Like, clearly how he's behaving is something in addition to what that doctor was saying that was diagnosing him with, I guess. So, but like when he shot Arthur, I was like, I don't know, I was worried that he was going to like harm his family, which I know Pippa was also worried about. But yeah, I don't know. That part was crazy. I did not see that coming. And I feel like that was around 75% of the way in the book. And I was just so hooked at this point. Like, I just couldn't, I really truthfully could not put this book down. So on my notes here, I wrote 75% of the way in, and then I wrote Gabe hearts Amanda because I'm 12. But I was just really convinced that he, like, Gabe and Amanda were a thing. So it was like so crazy to me that they weren't even having an affair. Like, I was so dead set convinced on that, like, this entire book. So then the more that Max was telling us about his deceased brother, Harry, and how he was convinced that he saw Harry jump off the bridge, I was like, maybe he saw somebody else jump off the bridge, but maybe Gabe is actually Harry. And like, that's the twist. Like, Pippa and Amanda don't know that, but like Max knows that. So with Gabe ending up being Harry's son, I felt like that was like a very genius twist, because I was catching on to like Gabe and Max having some sort of like relation, but I didn't think that it was going to be his nephew. I was really thinking like Gabe was Harry. And then I just thought it was a crazy twist that like Amanda and Gabe were fighting over that USB, and that's how she ended up dying. And the fact that it was like, in Amanda's point of view, it looked like Gabe was, he could have reached out to like try to help her, but then he like stopped reaching out like mid-reach or whatever. Like, it looks like he was hesitating. That was just like some food for thought for me, if you will. I was like, could he have actually saved her? Overall, honestly, you guys, I loved this book. I loved it so much. I had so much fun reading it. I feel like I haven't had a book of the month book in a little bit of time that like I've actually really liked, that's like newer. Like, you guys know, obviously I said I loved The Push. I said I loved Dark Places, but like a newer thriller from them, I feel like I haven't really loved in like a couple months. So it felt nice to get a book from Book of the Month that I was like, yes, this is another 5-star read. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and please let me know what you thought about this book in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.